right. I am just about to get this live started. We are live currently on YouTube and on two of our TikTok channels right now. And so if you're joining us, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is one of the biggest subjects that you talk about in business that is done very poorly. And one of the biggest opportunities that we have in our business is to help it to prosper. And one of the biggest parts of business that a lot of people get wrong and that they just don't have the concept, the correct, I guess I would say the right perspective of how much, or maybe the correct expectation, because it's one of the hardest things to get right. All right, so I just want to make sure with my trusty team member, Karina, are we good? Are we live everywhere? Everything looking good, Karina, right now? And by the way, if you're joining us on TikTok and if you're joining us on YouTube right now, welcome to the channel. I'm so glad you're here, and I hope this is a very meaningful session in the series of building a multi-million dollar family business. All right, so let's see. Yes, we are live. I got the green light. Let's charge forwards. All right, so popping open my slides here. You guys should be able to see those as well as I go through them. But anyways, as we get into this information today, like I said, this is one of the biggest areas of that we have that we can improve our business and improve the lives of everyone on our team if we get it right. And it's also one of the biggest areas that if we get it wrong and we stay in the wrong for long enough, it can deeply hurt the business or even cause eventual failure because we're not paying attention to what we're supposed to be paying attention to as business owners, as business leaders, making things work for the benefit of the organization and everyone on the team, and even the clients in the market for that matter. So it's one of those things that like this. I hope that how to find clients. That's the actual what do you call topic that I'm going over today. And if you have a business, or if you want to have a business, or if you know somebody who wants to have a business, or if you want to stay in business for the long term, then this is one of the series that you don't want to miss. This is the information that I wish I would have known about 15 years ago as I started working through business. Now, I made lots and lots of really cool sales over the years. I've done a lot of work in the sales and marketing space myself. I'm still, when you're the CEO of an organization, you're still very much on the forefront with talking with and being involved with the tip of the spear activities in your marketing and sales teams, managing those direct reports in those areas and making sure everything is flowing smoothly. So this is something that I live and breathe and do each and every day, year after year after year. And so if somebody would have sat down and said, hey, there is this guy on YouTube that has information about how you can grow your business, and he tells people how to find clients. Like, this is the stuff that I wish that somebody would have told me way back when. And it's been learned through all the content has been learned through a trial of fire. Like, what worked, what doesn't work, how much do I need to do of that, how little do I need to do of that, and so on. So this is not going, like, I'm going to cover as much ground as I can today, but just because the breadth of this subject is so vast, we can't in 1 hour actually divulge all of that you need to know. So I hope you like and subscribe to the channel, because if you don't, you're going to miss some of the key information that we're going to sorry, somebody said the CEO One network is not so good. Let me find out what's going on here really quick. Maybe we can access another Wi-Fi group here. Let me try to see if I can add it. Here we go. We're connected. All right, let me know now. Team, how's it looking now? How's this channel looking right now, guys? Because if you're on TikTok right now, please let me know. Can somebody wave, say hello, say, hey, yeah, it's good. Are we having a good, is the stream looking good right now? Great. Okay, we're gonna leave it like that for now. So how's the YouTube live looking? Is that looking good, guys? Anybody, whoever is on YouTube right now watching, is that looking good too? Please let me know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Karina, is that good? Dun, 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 dun. Good. We're all good. All right, so we're going to keep going. So this is the information that I wish somebody would shared with me, and because the information package is so vast, we can't share it all in one session. So I really hope you like, subscribe, follow wherever you're looking at this information. Follow, like, and subscribe because we're going to be unpacking more and more critical pieces of this as the year unfolds. And by the way, this is one of those things that doesn't ever end. It always changes. There's always updates, and there's always more to learn and more to know. So as we go through the content, I just want you to realize that what I say in this one today is setting the groundwork so that, like, this is the stuff you need to know at the beginning. And if you know it at the beginning, you have a much higher likelihood of being successful in your business and growing your business. But if you don't know it at the beginning, you stifle your business and you really give yourself trouble for moving forward. So if you're joining from wherever you are, please just type in where you're from. Would really love to know where you're joining us from. That would be really awesome. And by the way, if you have a question at any point of the live, by the way, there's 3 cameras pointing at me right now. There's 1, 2, and 3. If you have a question at any point of the live, please feel free to type it in and just ask. And my trusty team member, Karina, she will make sure that it pops up on the screen in front of me, or at least on one of these screens that's around me here. And so we'll make sure that we answer your question as efficiently as possible. So guys, welcome to the live. And I hope this is a very meaningful experience for all of you as we work through and helping people understand how to find clients as you grow your business. Now, if you want to actually see the slideshow stuff, I'm sorry, on TikTok, you can't really see it. You're going to have to jump over to the live on YouTube. So I would suggest, if you have time and if you are in a place where you can, and you're not driving or something like that, that if you would just jump over to YouTube on the live on my Tyka CEO channel over on YouTube. I'm live right there right now, and there is where you can see the actual slides to this. If you'd like us to actually send you the slides later on, just so you can jog your memory or have a better understanding, or have be able to have some reference material, let us know, and we'll make sure we get that out to you. All right, so this masterclass is on how to find clients, and we're doing this in the building of a multi-million-dollar family business. So some of the myths that I've heard people say and that I've seen people believe is, like, if you build it, live visibility restriction. Why? I don't know what that means. Okay, I don't know what that means. So the myth is, if you build it, they will come. So some people think, I don't know what this restriction is showing up on the screen for. Okay, I don't know what that means. If you build a company, if you build a business, or uh, if you build anything something to sell something, then somehow people will come, and they will buy your stuff. That's what I've heard so many people think. Like, if I just build anything, people will come and buy it. And the truth is, that is absolutely false. If you build something, kudos to you, but to actually get people to buy stuff long term over a long period of time, you have to go out and get those clients and build relationships, and then start the sales process and make sure it works. So we're going to talk about how to do that in this master series today. But I just want to debunk some of these myths right off the bat, that if you build a business, people will come and buy your stuff. Just like that old movie. Like, if you build the baseball field, the guy walks out on the baseball field. He's like, if you build a baseball field, the legends will come. Well, that only happens in the movies. In real life, people don't come, and you actually have to go out and find the clients. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. All right. So if you work hard, you deserve people to buy your stuff. Well, maybe you deserve people buying your stuff. That's really nice if people actually do buy your stuff. But the problem is, if you go bitter because nobody buys your stuff, and you thought it was going to be easier, and you thought more people would buy your stuff faster, and you'd be able to scale your income faster, and then you get discouraged because they don't, because the world's not fair. It's like, okay, suck it up. The world isn't fair, and we go on. We have to build bigger, better, greater, and we have to figure this stuff out. So if you work hard, you deserve people to buy your stuff. That's a myth. You're going to work hard, but you have to work hard doing the right things in order to get a lot of people to buy your stuff. All right. Next, if you have a great vision and good intentions, you will surely prosper. You will not prosper if you don't know how to get clients. If you don't know how to get clients and you don't do it consistently, you will not prosper in business. So this is markets go up, markets go down, challenges come, challenges go. You have to have a great vision, but if you have great vision and good intentions, you might still fail. It's tough. Business is tough. The market is saturated. The market is always saturated in almost every industry. The only time that you can be in a market that's not saturated is if nobody really cares about the thing that's being sold and they don't need it, or you're a huge corporation and you're at the forefront of the next technological wave. Then, then you have then it's very easy to start to prosper at that level. But not it's not easy. I don't want to give any fake ideas here that somehow it will be easy to prosper at that level. It's not. It's still, they had to build the company to that level so that they could have that sort of view, that forward searching view, to be able to capitalize on those opportunities that are like once in a lifetime, that almost like they create. So if you have great vision and good intentions, and there's a lot of small Christian family businesses out there. I have a small Christian family business, and I'm one of you. But if you just have a great vision, you think that God is going to somehow make you prosper because He should make you prosper because you're good people. Uh, it's not. That's not necessarily what's going to happen. And so you have to do the things required in order so honestly, for the Christians and brothers and sisters out there, you still have to do the stuff that's required in order for God to be able to bless you, and so on. So if you have great vision and good intentions, it's great, but that doesn't keep you from failure. And I just want to remind all of you out there. So these are myths that I've heard, that I've seen people operate on, and they're like, well, it should be better, it should be easier, everything should be easier for us, and it's not. And so it must mean that God wants us to stop. No, it doesn't mean that God wants you to stop. You're just not doing what you have to do in order to get the clients. Really? Yeah, really. So let's start working on it. That's what we're going to be talking about today. So if you don't know who I am already, my name is Jason Ellinger. I'm the CEO of Taika Translations. We are a multi-million-dollar translation and digital services company. We provide language services to people all around the world, and we offer digital services and in-country agency services and consulting and leadership consulting to people in all walks of business, in all walks of life. And so if you have any questions or need any of those services, please feel free to reach out to our team on that side. But that's not what I'm here to talk about today. I'm just here. I just want to kind of give that preface so that you can know that as you listen to the content today, you're not listening to some blogger. You're not listening to some vlogger. In fact, I didn't even get on to any of these channels until about 12 months ago. I only started broadcasting any kind of content about 12 months ago, to actually just to continue to grow our brand and deliver more value in the marketplace, because we have other products that we want to launch and bring to life. And so as a process of doing all of that, these channels came about. And so that's why I do this. But my main goal today is to bring you as much value as possible, and to kind of give you the confidence that as you watch the content and as you listen through all of this stuff today, that you realize that that the stuff that you're listening to is content that's not, that I just didn't read in a book somewhere. It's content that you actually can trust, and that has been tried in the furnace of trial and failure and success. We've achieved an incredible amount of success. My wife and I, we started our business on our card table in our living room about 11 years ago. This will be our 12th year in September. And we scaled it from zero to a multi-million-dollar company in that time. And we've worked incredibly hard with a great team, and been able to create a lot of prosperity. And so I'm sharing the secrets, the skills, the hacks, the information I wish I knew back then with you guys, so that you can maybe not have to run into some of the brick walls that I did along the way, and hopefully prosper faster. And if I provided you that value, then I have achieved my purpose with these lives today. So again, we're on multiple cameras here. And so if you're joining us from TikTok, or if you're joining us on the YouTube channel, I just want to welcome you. Thank you for hopping in. It means so much to me that you're here. And if you would, please like, subscribe, follow, like the live, follow us on this channel, because all the content that I'm talking about today has other pieces of the pie that I'm going to be adding in through more videos that we're putting out for the rest of the year. So I just want to make sure that if you hear the content of the video today and you think, oh, that's all I need, that's all that there is, well, it's not the case. There's more coming, and it constantly adapts. This information is like organic; it grows over time, and you have to grow personally with it. So I hope you join the journey with us. So like, subscribe, hit the notifications bell, follow, like the live, and that would be so awesome to have you on in our tribe. All right. So the reality in business is this: well-intentioned people often fail in business, and as hard as that is to stomach sometimes, as hard as that is to actually receive, and as unfair as that is, it is the case. Well intentioned people often fail in business. And why is it? Well, there's a multitude of reasons, but there is one singular reason that a business fails. And I was listening to a Harvard, was it Harvard? No, it was a business coach. He was, this is the book, How the Mighty Fall. And I was reading through How the Mighty Fall. And he said, in this classroom, they were talking through how, what happens when a business fails. What is the thing, the paramount event that happens? And the students, they gave different theories and the different ideas. And he's like, no, there is a single thing that happens. Like, okay, what is that? And he wrote on the board, CASH, cash. When the business has zero cash, it is done. When your business has zero cash, it is done. And when does it have zero cash? When it has zero paying clients. And when you don't have a product that you can get in front of people who want to buy that product, who need that product or service, and who will actually spend money with you in order to get that service. So, well-intentioned people often fail in business. No matter how good intentioned you are, if you have no cash, your business fails. Simply building a nice site and doing some AdWords, it might do a little, or it might just drain your cash and do absolutely nothing. That could be the reality. I've done AdWords really poorly. I've done AdWords better, and we're even doing them better this year. But if you do them bad, you could just drain all of your money, have no cash, and not have enough paying clients, and your business goes under. Company, culture, eat, vision for breakfast. What do I mean by that? The people in the company that do stuff day in and day out that causes the business organ to work, and cash to flow in and cash to flow out and cash to fluidly move throughout the organization, that is what causes your company to prosper. And culture eats vision for breakfast. Vision is important. I have a company called The Vision People. I believe in vision. But if you only have a vision and you don't have a culture of people within that organization that drive sales and drive cash and make that vision come to life daily and fund that, create the economic engine for that vision to take effect in this life, in this marketplace, then the company goes under. Now, finding clients is both harder and easier than you think. It's harder because you might not realize the volume required, but it's easier because the steps really aren't that complicated. Now, let's go forward. Today's landscape requires a multifaceted approach to getting clients. You can no longer be a single way of doing things in order to get clients. My company operates in the United States, and we operate in many countries around the world. And it's not possible to infiltrate those marketplaces by using a single approach, having one sales guy going door to door talking to people. That's nice if you can do that, but we have a global marketplace now, and you can't use only that resource in order to get your content out there in front of people and have them buy your stuff. You actually have to have a multifaceted approach that works, and that works and works again and again, even while you're sleeping. So today's US market is the most marketed to environment in history. People say, well, my business failed because the market is saturated. The market is always freaking saturated, and it always will be saturated if there is a product or a need that you're serving clients with. Somebody else will find it out, or Chinese will find it out, and they will start serving the clients that you serve for cheaper. The market is always saturated. There is never a time when there is not a saturated market out there. In every single industry that I have ever worked in, the market is saturated. So what do? We create our brand. We increase market share by developing relationships and so on. We'll talk about this stuff in a little bit, but the point is, if you think that your market is saturated, it's because it's saturated. And so what? They're all saturated. Life's not fair, and we have to prosper anyways. And so, how do we do that? Doing the multifaceted approach. And that's how you find clients. Okay, that's not all what I was going to talk about. I'm going to show you how to do that later. But my point is, you have to know this information if you're going to be successful as we work through. All right, inroads are built like bridges or roads. So if you think of a road is built. So what do they do first? Well, we need a road here. There's no road. Okay, so what do we do first? We excavate the entire piece of land. We have to get really far down into the earth so that we can get to a stable thing to build on, some kind of bedrock to build on. And then we have to bring our own sand and our own gravel and the different types of gravel and different sizes. And then we have to put layers of geotextile down to hold it all together, to keep it from falling apart. After we do all of that, we have to put another layer of gravel. After we do all of that, we have to put another layer of sand. After we do that, we can put the asphalt. And we have to put borders on the side, right? All these things have to happen in order to create that road or that bridge. There are so many little steps that build up to this beautiful machine that works, or this beautiful road that works and carries you from point A to point B. And that's how the marketing scene works. That's how getting clients works. It's not just, well, I made 10 phone calls today and I didn't get any clients. Boo-hoo me. No, you have to make the content, the phone calls, the visits. I mean, all of these things go together. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. In business, the requirement for new bridges is never done. So this is the point I want to drive home, guys. If you thought that if you built a business and you thought, okay, now I built all my sales channel, everything is flowing smoothly. We have all the clients that we will ever need, and we never really need to go and do any more. We never have to work or focus anymore on this aspect of finding clients, finding and getting and bringing new clients in the door. I can guarantee your business will suffer in about 5 years or less, because the environment will change, technology will change, the delivery method will change, something in this environment is going to change, and you will be surprised that now more people, have access to the same product elsewhere, and they can get it maybe even cheaper, more efficiently, faster. So we have to adapt over time in order to be able to maintain a system that continuously works and build new bridges all the time. The process of building bridges is never over. And we start with the foundation, and those relationships have to grow. And then we have to put all the elements in place so that we can always get from point A to point B. There's never a time in your business when you will stop building bridges. It has to continue day after day after day, year after year after year, or your business will ultimately fail. So the method for building the client bridge constantly changes, even though the principles are the same. The principles, so that's the good thing. The principles are very similar. From the time that from the time I did any sales way back 27 years ago, I started doing sales and marketing for my landscaping business with my brother. From that time until today, the principles of marketing have stayed very, very similar, but the methodology for carrying them out has vastly changed. That landscape has changed in ways I would have never imagined. I mean, just even think about 100 years ago, for example. So 100 years ago, we had, basically telephones, cars, radios. What other media? We had televisions, right? And so that's how people were able to get some of their content out, or marketing and sales. The door-to-door salesman, right back in the 1950s. You have these door-to-door, these people that take they take a portfolio and they just walk door to door and they sell vacuum cleaners or pans or boxes or whatever they sell, or phones, or lightning rods, right? And people go door to door to door to door and sell stuff. That's how they did it back then. But fast forward 100 years, how many people do you have him walking in your door, selling stuff? And you still see those commercials on television, just like they were back then. But now, how many people do you see uh, delivering? And how many effective phone calls do you get that you actually buy stuff when somebody calls? You don't do that. You're like, you hear a phone call, like, oh, you're a marketer, click, and then you go and talk to somebody, and then you go on Amazon and buy the same thing, like for 10 times cheaper. So the methodology has changed, but to build those client bridges, but the requirement to build client bridges is a consistent reality for all of us. But the principles, they are the same, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. So hang with me. All right. So there's one caveat here. I've heard so many small businesses say this, and I think it's a big mistake. And it is. If you want to keep your business less than $1 million, then this is the slogan that you stick to. Well, all of our marketing is word of mouth. I've heard businesses that have been in business for 10 or 15 years say that, well, all of our marketing is word of mouth. And then a couple of years later, like, well, we're kind of struggling. It's like, yeah, you're struggling because you have no program to do anything in your marketing, and you haven't grown your marketing muscle. And so you don't know what the heck to do. And when all of this hits, the problem is, because the market is constantly changing, and because there's people out there in the marketplace providing value, and they're actually building their brands in your same space, it is possible that you get to the point where they're doing so much of it and they're making so much noise because they really had to work and flex that muscle, that you've come to find out, like, wait a minute, I've been doing absolutely nothing. I've been doing only word of mouth sales for my organization. Now we're kind of struggling because you didn't work on that muscle. And now they're already doing all the stuff and you got to catch up. And so it might require you to work way more than you thought you had to work in order to catch up to where they already are, just to get back to where you were a few years prior. So that's why it's very, very important. I've heard so many small businesses say that we only do word of mouth advertising. That's it. We survive on word of mouth. And it's nice. And that's great when you have word of mouth advertising, and when you have people popping up and just frequenting your business. But over time, if you want to go beyond the $1 million, you are not going to be able to do that consistently for years at a time if you only use this type of advertising, this type of worldview of your client acquisition system. So now what? Now what do we do? You have to have a marketing mix. Now listen, I just called it a marketing mix. I couldn't think of a better name for it. But basically, you have to have a marketing mix. You have to have things that are completely, these four elements, they must be a reality in your process in order to get clients. To find clients, these are the things that must be a reality. These four things. I'm going to break them down as I go through this video, but I want you to understand that these four pillars must be a reality for your client acquisition system. So you have to clearly understand how your product makes people's life better, and design your product so that it does. So this is really important. You have a product, like, for example, just take the people who sold ice boxes way back long ago. They sold a box. The box had ice in it, and you put your stuff in there and kept it cool. And every once in a while, Billy would show up in a little truck, and he had a block of ice, and he'd put it in your ice box to keep the ice box staying cool. And then somebody one day figured out how to do refrigeration. And all of a sudden, Billy, who kept showing up and never changed his methodology, he just kept showing up with a block of ice. People said, hey, Billy, we don't need you to show up anymore. Why? Because I got a refrigerator that replaces the thing that you do. Oh, well, what does Billy do? I have a barn full of ice. What am I supposed to do with that? I don't know. You're going to have a really cold barn, though. And so, in order to make sure that your product continues to be relevant in the marketplace, it takes constant research and intentionality to stay relevant. Now, it also takes building your brand so that people like the stuff that you do, and they actually have very positive interactions with you as they work through interacting with your brand. But more importantly, if you don't understand how your product makes people's lives better, and your life only gets better because you sell the thing, because you get money for that, or you fund what your kids' college, or you fund your life, then that isn't very helpful. That product eventually will become irrelevant in the marketplace. And if we have irrelevant products in the marketplace, how long do you think that business is going to last? Not very long. It's going to go under. So the first thing we have to understand is how our product makes lives better, and design our products so that it does. It's always an outward focus when you look at your products. When you actually have a product that you present to the marketplace, if it's not outward focusing, if it's not providing a significant value to people, and if you don't know how it provides value to them, then it will be very, very difficult for you to get clients. So that's why this is the first thing. Whatever the thing it is that you do, a product, a service, multiple products, a store, whatever that is, how does your product make their lives better? And if you don't know how, first of all, answer the question how it does, and only you can answer that question. Or you can do some research online and ask ChatGPT to help you understand how your product makes people's life better. And then after you do that, you can get some really, really good ideas on how your product makes their lives better, and what problems that it solves, so that you can understand how to better market your content. And this is the first step that you need to do in order to look out there and getting clients. All right, the second thing is identify your client avatars. I'm going to break this down a little bit. Don't worry about it. But in this, you just need to know these 4 pillars have to be reality. You have to know what your product does, how it makes people's lives better, and continually be intentional about adapting that product so it makes people's lives better. Identify the client avatars, and then create those profiles so that you have access to them on a consistent basis, so that whenever you get confused about what your clients need or how you make their life better, then you can always go back to that and say, all right, these are the things that I know our product does for people that is actually relevant. These are the things that might need to change a little bit. This has dropped off from being very relevant. Now we understand, okay, these are the core things that make it really relevant. Now, who in the world needs those things? All right, so that's when we get into client avatars. And that, as we understand what our product does and how it makes life better, we can much easier get to the client avatars and build those client profiles. And we'll talk about those in a little bit, so don't get confused or don't worry. I'm going to talk about that. All right, so the third thing we have to do is to deploy marketing methods that evolve with the market. You can't be the guy who just brought the block of ice. You have to be the guy who builds a refrigerator and thinks about the system like, oh, we can build a refrigerator. Now it has a box. That's cool. And now we can put a box on top of that goes even further down in temperature, and it actually freezes stuff. And then we can help people keep things cool and frozen and make it more efficient and easier that way. And then, heck, we can use this for an air conditioner, and we can cool the whole house, and keep developing your product out. So deploy the marketing methods that evolve with the market. Just like the market evolves, just like the methodology evolves, we have to evolve with the changes in the market. All right, this requires a lot of feedback loops. And the good thing about going out and finding clients is you get a lot of feedback. Well, you can get no feedback. That's also feedback. It means a lot of times that means, well, what you're doing, first of all, it's good. Okay, first of all, if you get no feedback, it could be a good thing. The fact that nobody is kicking you off their email list, and they're actually just receiving your information, and they might just kind of appreciate you being there. And that's kind of a good thing. Or you might get positive feedback where hey, I kind of need the thing you're selling. I kind of like the thing you're selling. Hey, I need this or that. I've got questions about this. And then you can actually interact with them if you're if you have these outward going messaging. Or they could give you feedback loop like, hey, don't ever message me again. I hate your guts. That has happened. And so just because I'm a completely irrelevant client, I do not buy your stuff ever, and you should not contact me. Okay, got the message, understand. Thank you for letting us know. All 3 of those, they're all positive things. Whether the client, wanted to get off the list, that helps us to hone down our list and make sure that we're only contacting relevant people. When the clients are quiet, it just means they probably don't need it right now, and eventually they will. Or it means you might need to make your message a little more relevant and clear. And so all of these feedback loops and these implementations that we have to make have to be carefully looked at Invite you to co-host with another creator. No, I'm not doing that right now, buddy. Thank you so much for asking. I'm going to decline that. Um, because I can't do that right now. Anyways, all right. So, deploying the different methods, they have to evolve with the market, and they require those feedback loops. So, any feedback that you get in as you start deploying your content in the marketplace, any of it is really good feedback. Now, the fourth thing is age old truths. Employ the age old truths. I'm going to talk about that on the second to last slide of this video. Now, product relevance. Our product must be clear. Too many products are unclear. When I talk to our clients about what we do, we sell language services and we empower people with clarity. That's what we do. And like, oh, how do you do that? Well, thanks for asking. Now I have the opportunity to further clarify. So, your job when you think about your product and when you want to get new clients is to figure out how to make the client the hero in the story. This has a lot more to it than you might think. And I'm going to talk about that in the video next week, actually. I'm going to break this part down because I thought about this in this series and I was like, man, I can't tell everything about this one thing in this video today. I need to help everybody understand the initial requirement, and then I'm going to go through and break some of these down to help further clarify what you need to do so you can get to from theory to tactical as fast as possible. And if you know me, if anybody who does know me, they know that I like to get from theory to tactical as quickly as possible because I know that people actually doing stuff, getting out of the marketplace and making something happen are the ones that actually grow. So the main thing you need to know in this section is that in order to get more clients, you have to clearly understand how the client is the hero in the story because they interacted with your product or service. How is the client the hero? They bought your product, and because they bought your product, they were able to, facilitate a birthday party, or they used your wedding planning service, and so because they chose the right wedding planning service that actually could provide all of these things that only you offer, that they actually were the ones who made who look really, really cool in the eyes of all of their friends, and they are the hero. Whenever you help the client understand how they are the hero when they interact with your stuff, then you have a much more viable product and a much more attractive one that people actually want to interact with and take advantage of and buy. And so this is one of the first steps in understanding how your product clearly creates the client as the hero in the story. And it helps you not become obsolete by disrupted marketing, disrupted markets or poor marketing. If you constantly assess how your product makes the client the hero, you almost never drop out of relevance because you delivering your product, making them more successful in their life, defeating some kind of dragon, making some of the negative or the disconnect go away in their life for my business, removing the lack of clarity so that people can actually move their lives forwards. You doing that thing with and them getting it from you causes you to stay on your toes and not to become obsolete as you provide this service. And so if you are working through delivering your products, staying with the client's mind having the client's mind in the forefront all the time is the only way that I have ever seen to be able to stay relevant. Now, there's a depth of marketing comment that I want to deliver to you, at this point. The market is so vast that just because you think your product might be wiped out, it doesn't mean it will be. Because there are billions of people in the world, and the odds are that somebody needs your product. And so if somebody says, well, your thing is completely irrelevant, then gosh, there are so many examples out there of products that would be irrelevant because of advancements in technology. For example, people who sell finance and budgeting forms or finance and budgeting software. It seems like that would become irrelevant because now we have access to everything, all of this information at our fingertips. But somehow people still need help with that. And like hundreds of $1 million of businesses are built off of the sale of that stuff. And so if you think that your product is somehow irrelevant and that the thing that you do is no longer needed, I would challenge you to really consider whether or not it is, if you have simply not created your marketing bouquet and understood the requirement in the current environment to market and sell your product, or is it something, or is it legitimately that there is no market for that thing that you sell? And I mean, most of the time, because the market is so big and so global, even in small niche products, they're not obsolete. The problem is they are marketed too poorly because people don't know what they're doing in their marketing and sales processes, and they can't make the sales happen, or they become too used to a word of mouth type of methodology, and then their business starts to slow down, and they just don't know. They just say, "Well, no, nobody ever needs our product anymore." No, people desperately need your product. They just don't know you exist. And that's the crazy part. You live in this world where you and I, we live in this world in our business and we work hard every day and we try to get information out there and we try to tell people about our stuff. And we think that, well, we've done so much and still not all the people know about our business. Like everybody should know and have heard about our business. And it must mean that nobody wants to buy anything. It's not the case at all. N- Like you just don't realize that so many people don't do enough to get their product in front of the right eyes. And so that's why we start with this one. We have to create clarity around our product, help make sure we understand how the client becomes the hero, and stay relevant in our marketing so that we always make those values come to life in our marketing content so that the client can see when they buy our stuff, like, oh, yeah, that's how I'm going to become the hero when I buy that thing. Because, oh, yeah, that does solve the problem that I'm facing. Now, let's move to the very next one, client avatar. And if there's one thing that you should always have in your system for client acquisition, it is this, your client avatars. Now, our company, because we serve multiple client profiles, we have about 12 different profiles that we like. Okay, there's a lot of different types of clients we can serve, but we've narrowed it down to about 12 in the different types of clients that we go after. And so we have very concrete, very clear explanations of who those clients are, what they want, and what they need, so that when we go after them, we understand the messaging, the age profile, the gender profile, and where they hang out, and all of these other characteristics about them, so that our marketing stay relevant to that individual avatar. And so for you, you need to write this out. Your ideal client, the ideal client that you, so if you've been in business for a while, it's a little bit easier because now you know you've sold stuff to people once in a while here and there, and you've been able to create some sort uh of a profile in your mind, at least, of like, oh, when we work with that type of client, it's a really great experience both for the client and for us, and it's super profitable. Okay, so if you can grab a few of those in your mind, you can start through really extracting, okay, what type of client it is that I need to have, that I need to be creating my messagings for, so that I can bring them into our our marketing profile. Now, this starts with just a short description for yourself. This is an internal thing, internal document that you have about the clients that you serve. So start with a document that says at the top, what is their age, the gender, the position, the thing they do, the type of work they do, and how and when they purchase your product. It's just a description at the top. And you just think about you being in the client's shoes. How, when, and why do they purchase your product? And write this stuff out at the top. Here's the client avatar. This is a, maybe it's a for one of our clients, like a school administrator. This is the, typically the age, this is typically the gender, this is why they purchase our product, and you have this information written concisely in a document that it's just like a one page, if you have to, two-page document, because sometimes the characteristics can get a little long. And then you get into the characteristics, where, who they are, and then where and when you can find them. And when you have this information written concisely on a sheet right in front of you, accessible to your whole team that's creating and delivering this messaging, it makes things way, way, way easier. And so I really urge you, don't skip this step. Really look into, okay, who are the clients that purchase our stuff? When do they purchase it? And all the information that you can extract around the personalities behind who purchased your product will give you a very clear and helpful matrix, or and I'm not, I don't know, helpful information base to so that you can start building forwards with your marketing program and to go out and get those clients. So branding will come from this. So listen, people make branding super complicated, but branding is simply this: your clients like stuff, and you pair your stuff with the stuff that they like. And then you can go forward and sell stuff because they like the stuff that you pair your stuff with. And so now you can sell them more stuff. And you can be more popular in their marketplace because more of the people that are kind of like them like the same stuff that they kind of like. And so you have a bigger chance to be able to influence more people in those circles. And that's simply how branding works. You pair stuff with the things that your clients like, and that helps you to prosper. Now, they needs to have product intel. You do need to know what product, like if you sell multiple products, if there's multiple products in your store, if there's different types of service, if you have a products and services mix, you do need to understand, okay, this is the product they buy, and this is the client set for that, or this is the product they buy. Make sure you separate them out if have different product offerings. Like, don't separate, like if you actually have a store and you sell food, well, you don't have to separate it all. Like, don't try to separate, like, okay, these are the canned goods, these people would buy milk and bread every day, and don't do that. Just the general main preferred client is what you're after. And then you can start understanding how you compare with the things that they like, and make sure that you show up in the places that they uh, man, I'm losing my words today. I don't know what's wrong with me. And that you can show up in the places that they frequent, so that you can make sure that there's an encounter. All right, so your marketing and content and your client acquisition will be largely formed around the profiles you create. Now, let's talk about methods. And this is, man, this one is so big. I almost didn't put it into this slideshow, but I thought, okay, our people need to know. As I talked about I think in this slide here, no, no, this one. Employ, no, age-old truth. The marketing methods, deploying marketing methods that evolve with the market. This is so big that if you don't realize and don't engage with the learning, growing into, and deploying each of these in your business, leaving any one of these out, you'll be leaving out a critical piece of the pie that makes the marketing bouquet work. And that's how I look at the marketing, a client acquisition. It is a bouquet of different deploying of different activities very effectively over time that draws clients to you. Now, what are the methods? We're going to talk more about some of these methods in the future, but this is something that you really need to grasp. There are If you extract any one and don't employ it, then you will be causing yourself a lot. You'll be missing out on a venue for marketing and acquiring clients. So now, let me talk to the two first old ones. They're old, and some people say they've gone away, but they haven't gone away. They're still effective, and they still work. How do I know this? Because they work in my company each and every day, calling people and emailing people. You say, well, I don't like to talk on the phone, and I can't, and I don't know how to write marketing emails. Well, you're going to have to learn, because your relationship. I don't know what happened to mine. Here, can everybody still hear me? All right. All right. Just wanted to do a sound check really quickly. Can everybody still hear? Okay. Is Karina? Can you still hear everything fine? I want to make sure that we're still doing good on here, because I just had a little bit of a glitch in my AirPods. Everything good? Can we still hear online? Everybody still here? Yes? No? Karina, do you hear me? Let me type. Do you? Okay. Okay. Still good. All right. I just want to make sure you all could hear me because I just heard something happen in my sounds, and I just want to make sure that we didn't have any glitches here. All right. So, all right, let's go forward. Calls and emails. Man, like years and years and years ago, I remember some of my first experience with business was you had a list back in those days. She used a Word document, and then graduated to Excel, and then you built the relationship with the list. Boom. And you're like, what? It is such a basic and simple thing, but so many people fail to do this well over time. And when you fail to do it well over time, what happens is that you start having misfires and you start wondering why there's drama and friction and why your marketing is not as impactful as it should be. In fact, you weren't employing and deploying some of the most basic methodologies for making sales and developing relationships with clients. The calls and the emails must be a reality. And that list that you have that you're building a relationship with is a never ending process. You're constantly building the relationship with the people on the list that frequent your organization, that buy stuff from you, for lack of a better word or a phrase, the people that come buy your stuff. You're building a relationship with those people. And if you don't have another thing to sell to those people, you have to think about another thing to sell to those people. They came in, they trusted you enough to give you their money, and now you have a list of people on a list that you should be building relationships with. And so many people miss out because they don't do the phone calls and do the emails. And these are not like, hey, John, how are you today? You want to buy this thing? It's not that kind of, that's not, it's not that kind of call. It's building a relationship with them and that maintains your trust over time. And that when they need the thing that you offer, hey, did you know that we sell these things? Oh, I didn't know that. Thanks for letting me know. When I need it, I might get back to you. Great. And then you continue on and they continue on. And then they think about, hey, you know what? That nice person called me and talked to me about this thing. And I actually need one of those right now. And guess who they're going to come back to? They're going to come back to you because you have a relationship with them and you've maintained that over a really long time. And if you do that year after year after year, your client list will become better and better and more profitable and grow. So calls and emails, I know they're old. I know that, like, it seems like that shouldn't be on the list anymore because we're too far advanced. But believe me, they are very, very, very powerful in the sales process, in the client acquisition process. So when clients come in the door, make sure you get their information, make sure you don't violate any privacy and data laws, but how you save it, and then set up a system where you develop and build a relationship with them over time. Next, online meetings. So many people skip this or they're afraid to do meetings. Don't skip this and make sure that it's a part of your process. Calls, emails, and online meetings are some of the easiest marketing that you can possibly do and the cheapest. So, especially at the beginning of your organization, the calls, emails, and online meetings are something that has to be happening constantly. This should be a part of your reality no matter what point of the business you're in. You should always be meeting with people, calling people, and emailing people. Now, your team, after you get a team, you actually build out different team members on your team who work on each of these categories. And that's how you start to be like, you don't just do all of this yourself. Because if you try to do all of this yourself, you will get burned out. And so that's something I just really want you to understand is you can't do everything alone. And you will eventually need somebody to come in and help you to be able to deliver on these items. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, hold on. Mm, boom. All right, just had to make sure that the live didn't stop. So, if you're going to be delivering day after day after day on all of these things, um, you're going to need help. So, if your business, that's why it always bothers me when I hear a business owner say, "Well, we only grow by word of mouth." You can't grow by word of mouth. You can't grow beyond about $1 million or so by word of mouth alone. and it's not going to sustain you for many many years ahead. And it's another way of saying, I don't really have to build a relationship with my list. I am too good. People just tell other people about me. It's really nice when it's like that, but it kind of gives some kind of an essence of pride that, well, I don't have to because I'm so freaking good that I don't even have to do extra marketing because I'm freaking awesome. And guess how that's going to end? Not very well. I've seen so many businesses because they never started to engage in the process of marketing and growing their relationship with their clients fail. So, clients, emails, and online meetings, make these a reality in your life. If you're not good at them, find somebody who can do those well and then let them do that thing. There's a lot of people who specialize in some of this work that make it easier and much better client experience. If you're kind of a gruff, direct person, you probably shouldn't be the one on the phone calling them up and say, "Hey, how's it go? How's your life going? How are things going for you? Did you know that we offer these products? Do you need any of those?" And you probably aren't the kind of person because you just call them up. It's like, "Hi, this is Jake from such X company. Yeah, we sell this stuff. Do you want to buy it?" Okay, that's probably not going to work because they're probably going to kind of hate your guts after they receive that phone call, and then they aren't going to answer the phone anymore. So make sure that that's not the type of outreach that you have going on in this area. And I mean, we get phone calls to our business, people who want to call in and subcontract with our company, like, "Hey, can we work for you?" It's like, "I don't know, maybe." And it's like, "Okay, what do you do?" "Well, we do this, this, and this." "Okay, well, anyways," we was like, "Okay, contact this person and talk to them, and hopefully, if the prices are right and your service and you have the good enough quality assurance methods, we can start working with each other if that's a good relationship." But more often than anything, you need somebody who could be really good at each of these things. Somebody who's good at calls, somebody's good at emails, somebody's good in online meetings. And those might be some of the same, and they might be different people. Then we move to networking, conferences, and visits. And yes, if you have a business and you want to grow it, you're going to have to actually sit with people, talk to people, and actually interact with them. I saw one comment on a video. Was somebody was talking about marketing, and they're like, "Okay, so how do I, grow my business?" And the guy was going through this big marketing scheme theme on the video. And it's like, "Okay, it's this, and if you do all these things, they don't work." And the guy's like, "Just network, just freaking network." And so that's kind of what the thought that comes to my mind when I put this on the slide is like, we don't realize that. I mean, as nice as it would be to be able to only sit in your home and never actually have to visit anybody, it will be fine for a small boutique company. But if you want to grow beyond this small boutique thing and to a very multi-million dollar organization, you're going to have to get out and connect with people. And so don't think that um, simply because your product is an online thing, that there's never anywhere that you can interact with anyone who might want to buy that. There are, oh my gosh, there's thousands of conferences going on all over the United States where you can visit and talk to people and tell people about your stuff. And you have no idea who you're going to meet and how it's going to help you propel your business forwards. There are people searching for products and searching for people to sell products in their stores all over. And if you have a great thing that nobody knows about and nobody ever sees because you never show up anywhere, they're never going to know. So you have to show up in front of people in conferences, at networking events, and even individual visits to people who buy your stuff. Now, that doesn't mean you go to door and you take a portfolio with you and just go knock on other people's door and bother people and harass people. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about, actually showing up where the people who buy your stuff like to be and where they like to be, and kind of talk about the stuff that you sell. And those places, you got to be there in order for them to start relating to you. Because those people who are there, they're the ones making the sales and they're the ones interacting with people on a very, very, very intimate level. So show up at the conferences and make sure you're actually live and in person where people can see you. Because oftentimes it's not that your business is sucks, and it's not that nobody wants to buy your stuff. It's that people freaking don't know you exist. All right. Now, if you're on here, if you pop through, like the live, please. I would really appreciate that, and follow us on here because I started doing this content about a year ago, and a lot of people have said that they've been very, very helped by it. And so, if it's been meaningful to you in any way, please like the live and join the journey because I share content like this every single week to help people prosper. Now, next thing, online stuff. This is vast. All right, this is one of the biggest areas of all of this work. You're like, I thought you were going to talk about how to get clients. I am talking about how to get clients. What you might not realize is it takes vastly more than what you're currently doing or what you thought needed to be done. So that's what that's why as I talk through this stuff, you're like, wow, I mean, that's how you get clients. Yes, that's how you get clients. All right, so online stuff, social and ads and everything. It is huge. It is way huge. Why is it way huge? Because there are so many different profiles, so many different social media channels that you have access to. You notice that right now we're on YouTube, we're on TikTok, we're on a second TikTok channel. Why? Because there's so many avenues to distribute your content and to be out in the marketplace. It takes a lot of work. And in this day and age, for example, 10 years ago, are we good? I got some on my screen here. It was kind of getting a little choppy. Anyway, in this day and age, because we have had such an advancement in technology, you have so much more access to broadcasting great content about the stuff you sell and helping people know about your stuff much in a much broader audience than you ever did before. And so we're talking about Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and all the other platforms that you have available at your fingertips to be able to broadcast what it is that you sell and how you can get it in front of them. And if you have, if you haven't started this yet, you're already behind. I mean, you're like, man, I cannot harp on this enough. Just post something. Say, hi, my name is so and so, and I sell this. And you can buy it here and do that 5 times a week. That's not terribly long. People are not really that concerned about the super high quality. They just want to, of the content. The product's got to be good. The best way to fail a poor product is to market it really good. So don't do that. But my point is, people are not terribly worried about your content that you're putting out. I mean, I watched the video for, it's just an example. I have a Can-Am Traxxter Can-Am Traxxter XMR. It's like this kind of really cool all-terrain buggy, and all-wheel drive. Super cool. My kids love it. We go driving through the mud and the snow, and it's awesome. And I was looking online for my son is like, okay, we need to fix this thing. The rollers on the secondary clutch brake, the secondary clutch broke. I'm a kind of mechanical guy. I'm a hands-on guy. Like hands-on stuff. So a lot of times, if it's too broken, obviously I'm going to take it to the shop and have somebody fix it. Just somebody deal with it. But if it's not that broken, I might look into it and I'm going to try to figure it out. So my son, I got online, started looking through a few different things. I looked actually from the manufacturer. I was like, well, they have this product, and then started reading reviews of the product. Like, oh, it's not so good. And these people sell the same thing, but they're a small mom and pop shop out of Mississippi, and they've got this tiny YouTube channel where they say, hey, this is the stuff we sell, and it's actually way better because these are the things that go into it. If you want to buy it here, and it's actually a lot more expensive than the ones you can buy from the dealer's website, but is made way better. And they have a lot of reviews, and they have a lot of content online explaining how, why, and what it is and where you can access it. And guess what? They sell hundreds of thousands of these little things. And they only work on the clutches for ATVs or UTVs. That's all they do. And they provide these little products that go on those things. And they have a tiny little YouTube channel. The quality's kind of okay. And they broadcast this content all the time. And they sell and sell and sell and sell and sell. And you can too. So if you don't like being in front of camera, okay, then you're like me. Okay. I didn't like to be on camera. I don't like to be in front of people like this. but here I am on the camera talking to you, and I'm not dying, and neither are you. So it's obviously okay, right? So my point is, if you're going to be in business today, you have to have a social media presence. So many people shy away from this, and they're scared of this, or they just don't think they have the expertise to do it, and they just don't realize all they have to do is take a smartphone, do a little bit of lighting, and start telling people about what they sell. It's like, take a video of you telling people about what you do. If you have to, create a script on ChatGPT so that you can go, it's like, okay, this is the thing I sell. This is what I want to tell people, and then just create a script and practice the script a few times, and then make a video of you saying what's on the script. And that will help you get your very first steps into making a very consistent online posting. Now, you have to post consistently. You have to be, to stay relevant and to keep your information flowing out in the marketplace, you have to be very consistent day after day after day after day after day, week after week after week. So if you can't post every day, fine. Post 3 times a week and let people know what the thing is that you do, and tell all the different types of situations on how you can use that. People love stories, and they would love to be able to be engaged with your product if your product helps them out in the way that they need to be helped with that story. So that's why I'm telling you, this is a huge section. Online, that's why I put online stuff, social and ads and everything. This is just, it blows up into this massive section within your company. And our company in this area is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, because it's such a massive area of opportunity. And so many business owners, especially if you've been in business for 25, 30 years, you're like, well, you just may not be aware of how much this area of business has changed and how much opportunity lies there where you're not. So make sure you are on the social media, and that means Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, X, what is it? Twitter turned into X, and the other socials. And that's why I say online stuff, because it's everywhere. But first, at the very beginning, at least start doing something for crying out loud. If you have never done anything, choose one platform and post every week. Choose one platform and make a piece of content of you talking about the stuff that you do, and do it every single week. And this is how you drive more and more clients to your organization. I have a confession to make. I didn't do this for the first 8 years of our company. I wish, I desperately wish, I mean, so wish I had. I mean, I just, because I didn't have time, I didn't have resources, didn't have expertise, was too shy to be in front of a camera. I have a lot of excuses. But after I started to do it, it created such a benefit for the entire organization that I would never go back to not getting content out in front of people ever again. And so that's why I'm trying to deliver this to you, so that you, as you start your organization, as you are running your company, that you create your company avatar. Okay, so you have a client avatar. Don't get these two mixed up. You have a client avatar and you have your company avatar. It means the face, like the mascot for the team. You have to have somebody who's a mascot for your team, constantly posting stuff online that people can build a relationship with you, even if they never talk to you, because they see you again and again and again, popping up in different ways, in different capacities, talking about different products, different things that they can buy frequent, or maybe even pass on to somebody else who actually, because they had a good experience with you, they'll pass you on to somebody else. So the online stuff, the social outreach stuff, is absolutely mandatory. It's not a question anymore of should you, or is it necessary anymore. It's absolutely mandatory if you're going to grow beyond a very small boutique company. So I would encourage you to start posting. If you have never done it, make a video and select a single channel and start doing once a week. After you do that, start scaling up. And you'll already learn so much just by doing it one time on one platform once a week, that you'll start being like, oh, well, I can use the same content. I can repurpose it a little bit and post it on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. And then we can even have that much more reach. Okay. So don't think that if you just do one thing and that's it forever, that's what's going to work and make you prosper. That won't. You're going to have to become consistent first, get much better, and then you'll be able to scale and get more content in front of more people. The thing is that it will make you more visible in the marketplace. And remember what I said about people just don't know you're there. They don't know you exist. You think they know you exist, but people don't know you exist. If they knew you exist and they knew how good the thing was that you offered was for their lives and how it made them the hero in their story, obviously they would buy it from you. But it's very unlikely that the people who need to buy your stuff know you exist because of all the other noise in the marketplace. Remember at the beginning, we said the United States market is the most marketed to culture in the history of man. And if you're not out there and deploying all of the methods that I'm talking about today, then you're not loud enough. And if you're not loud enough, and if people don't hear you for long enough, it means you go out of business. So you have to make a lot more noise. That's what all of this stuff is about. The calls, the emails, the online marketing, the building the relationship with the list, and building a relationship with people that you might not ever meet because they're interacting with your stuff on your social media channels. They see your likes, they see you talking with your spouse. So they see you talking about the product. They see you helping people. They interact with your stuff, and now all of a sudden your company starts to grow. You start to get phone calls. You start to get inquiries. You start to get emails coming through. You start to get DMs because people now can see you. But people cannot see you if you don't get this stuff out in the marketplace. And this is how you get clients. More people have to see your stuff that need your stuff and in a way that they can receive the message like, oh, yeah, that's actually where I am right now, so that they can interact and come to purchase it. If they can't, and if they don't, you won't sell stuff. And so it's such a frustrating thing when I hear, well, I just I set up my business and I built my website and I created a Facebook page, but we're not selling anything. Like, yeah, because the market today requires the multifaceted approach to selling stuff in this environment. It's just like the guy who delivered the refrigerator block, the block of ice for the ice box. It's not like that anymore. There's a plethora of products and a lot of noise in the marketplace. You have to establish yourself, your authority, and you have to get out in the marketplace and deliver value. And you have to be able to tell people clearly what it is that you sell and how it makes them the hero in your story so that you can actually get them to come buy your stuff, to get new clients. Man, I'm going to be talking more about this. This isn't the only video that I'm going to put out on this. And please like, subscribe, and follow us, because if you haven't already, there's so much more content in this section that I can't even divulge all of it in this masterclass today. So stick with us, follow us, like the live. Make sure that you share this live with somebody that you know that needs help in this area, and go with us in the journey, because I break this stuff down. I talk about all of it and I deliver that content into you in a way that you can actually take it forwards and apply it to your own business, to your own life, heck, to your own personal brand, if that's all you have at the moment, and it will make your life better. So, a complete client acquisition system will have some percentage of all of these with quantities based on the product or service you sell. So, if you take all of these things, and I admit that maybe I haven't written specifically on this slide all of the different ways of that the content goes out, and I acknowledge that right now. But the basic idea is creating the relationship with the list, doing these things, doing these methods. And if you don't have some bouquet, some mix of all of these things in your client acquisition system, you're letting yourself down in that area. So make sure that all of these are a reality, and some businesses will have more or less, but all businesses, man, my tongue's getting tight. I guess because I've been talking for so long, I guess my tongue's getting a little tired. But all businesses will have will have a this as a part of their. You think of 100%, and now you break it out all that from that 100%. Some businesses will require you to call a lot more. Some businesses will require many more emails. Some businesses will require a lot more online meetings, and it's better to schedule the online meetings because the people that you sell to have too little time, and when they buy your product, they actually buy it really well if they just go through an online meeting. Or some people actually need more of those conferences, so you need to go to like 3 or 4 conferences every single month to really interact with the people that buy your stuff. Like the mix and match here highly depends on the product or service that you sell. So, but the main point here is all to have a complete client acquisition system to get new clients. You have to have all of these and constantly be building the relationships. And remember at the beginning of the video, I said building the bridges with those new clients. The most common area businesses don't engage in, and they have the power right at their fingertips, is the social and online content production. Now, in recent days, we've seen more and more and more companies engaging this, but I've seen so many companies, they just don't, they either do it really poorly, or they posted one video a really long time ago and they didn't get 6 trillion views, and they're like, "Oh, well, that doesn't work. That sucks." They're like, "You need to work at it. You need to deliver content on the thing that you do for 5 years. And then you can kind of determine whether or not it's effective." What? Yes, I told you the market is highly saturated. You have to deliver content for a really long time and deliver that value in order for them to be able to engage with your product and actually build the relationship to where build enough of a social profile and social proof that people can trust your product and then buy it. So I hope that you understand that, we talked, as we talked through the product and we talked about the client avatar and then we talked about the methodology, that um, it's not a one and done thing. You're actually never done. And so that's why I really hope that you like and subscribe and follow us on TikTok and follow us on YouTube, because so much of this content I will be delivering later on in the year, and the details for how to actually tactically carry this out in a very impactful way, faster than you otherwise would. You'll be able to see in the future videos. All right, next, age old truths. I promised you that I would give you the 4 pillars. This is the fourth of the 4 pillars. In a day of AI, in a day of noise on every platform, everywhere, age old truths remain alive and well. They haven't changed. People do business with people. And this is why I'm trying to convince to you and convey to you that the methodology, the interactions that you have with people matter so much. The more you interact with this marketplace, the more people see you, the more people see you say, "Hey, my name is John. I sell this thing. And by the way, so and so bought this thing from us and they're really, really happy. And here's how it made them the hero in their story." The more people hear you say that, the more people you will be able to interact with, the more people will build a relationship with you, and the more people that will do business with you. Till this day and age, till this moment, might change at some time in the future, but I haven't seen it yet, and it hasn't changed for thousands and thousands of years. People do business with people. So you have to be online and you have to be in a place where people can interact with you. And that's either online on the socials, it's either creating content that's evergreen, it's either making phone calls, it's either showing up at conference. It's all of that wrapped up into you being available to the market so that you can get clients, because so many people think, "Well, I did 10,000 calls and I didn't, have a lot of success." Well, the requirement may have been 100,000 calls. It may have been like 10,000. I mean, like, sorry, it may be like a million calls. Like, what? Yeah. You have to have a lot of people calling constantly to talk to people and help people understand what you sell. Like, what? I didn't think it was that much. It's vastly more than you think. And this is why so many businesses fail. They don't realize in order for people to do business with people, they have to be in front, available, and constantly readily available to do business with. That means with evergreen content online. That means with the constant outreaches for the campaigns, the email campaigns, the calling campaigns, and the other social media campaigns that you're doing. That means all of that has to happen consistently for you to be able to continually build relationships with clients and serve people. And you grow at the speed of trust. Listen, no one can trust you if they never see and they never hear and they never relate to you in any way. Just think about that for a second. No one can trust you if they never see, hear, or relate to you in any way. And how are they going to see, hear, and relate to you in an oversaturated market with lots of noise? You've got to be out there in the marketplace making noise and interacting with the people so that you can actually, so that they can actually understand how you provide value to them. You can sell them stuff, and that you can bring them into your tribe. Otherwise, you'll never be able to grow because this age old truth remains the same. You grow at the speed of trust. That's the same reason any dollar bill that you have in your wallet, no matter what country you're in, the only reason that it has any value is because people trust that it has value. And then people trust that when you give it to them, when they take it to the bank, they're actually going to say that, oh, this has this amount of value based on the number stamped on the bill, or what have you. There's a lot of digital transactions being made nowadays, but you grow at the speed of trust, and no one can trust you if they never hear or relate to you. So this is how you get clients. People do business with people. You grow at the speed of trust, and you cast a wide net. This is an age-old truth. I mean, this was way back when I first heard this, when there was no digital marketing out there in the marketplace at all. Cast a wide net. And what did that mean? I mean, broad cast of flyers. I heard this story one time of an entrepreneur. He was like, he was sitting with a guru in his space that he was offering very similar services in. He was like, okay, so how come I'm not as successful as you? And the guru was sitting there, was like, well, what are you doing? Like, what is your outreach, and what is your, how are you getting out in front of people? It's like, well, we're doing this on our socials. We're doing this and this and this. And it's like, okay, well, how about your flyers? Because a lot of times how that guy did it, he distributed flyers. His company distributed thousands of flyers. It's like, okay, so what you need to do, why don't you go try this for 3 weeks? Go try just distributing flyers and make a batch, and then go put them on people's cars. I'm not suggesting that you do this, but this is what the guru was telling this guy to do. And he said, okay, I'll go do that. So 3 weeks later, they met again, and he's like, okay, so how did your flyer thing go? He's like, well, I did exactly what you said. I distributed all of the flyers, and the only thing I got was a very angry person calling me back about me putting a piece of trash on their Mercedes. And it's like, it was like, oh, well, that's not very good results. It's like, okay, can you tell me how many flyers did you do? He's like, well, I did like 500. It's like, oh. And so he had a teachable moment where he sat there and he's like, okay, like, okay, little grasshopper, the guru speaking to this grasshopper, like Yoda speaking to Luke Skywalker. It's like, so when we do these flyers, we we print 10,000 flyers in our test flyer category, and we distribute them all. So we have 5 tests with 10,000 flyers each, and all of those flyers get distributed. And once we have distributed all of those from the one that we have the best result in, this means 50,000 flyers. One from the ones that we have the best result in, that's the one that's going to be our key flyer for the actual outreach. And then we do 25,000 flyers per week for the next 10 weeks. And the young entrepreneur sat back and was like, oh, like the volume was like 6,000x what he just did. And he realized that when you cast a wide net, the width of the net that you think needs to be casted is exponentially larger than you think it needs to be in order to get new clients, in order to bring clients in the door. And so that's what I'm trying to convey to you today. If you're having trouble going out on the marketplace and getting clients, the net is bigger. What you're doing, double it, triple it, do more, If it's completely ineffective, okay, add all the methodology, the calls, the emails, the visits, the make sure you actually have the list and you actually are interacting with the list. Make sure you have the visits. Make sure you're doing all your social stuff. You do all of that, it becomes highly unlikely that you will not succeed. And the point is to do so much, cast such a wide net that it is unreasonable for you to not be successful, even if your product is marginally used. And so, outreach and volume must increase consistently and perpetually. If you're not doing a lot, start now because starting tomorrow is not going to help. Start today. I mean, I just met with our sales teams and our marketing team, and we are doubling our outreach in some of the categories. And some of the categories we're exponentially like a thousand times more. We're exponentially increasing the outreach in some of the areas. Why? Because we're casting a wide net. That age old truth, it remains the same now and forever. And for you and for me and for everyone in our business. And your outreach and your volume must consistently and perpetually increase throughout the life of your business. That grows and grows and grows and grows and grows. And the person who gets more influence, creates more trust, interacts with more people, that's the person who does the most business in your category. All right. And the third and the last thing is this: who can be more uncomfortable for longer wins. Play the long game. If you stick to comfort, to what you know, it guarantees mediocrity. At best, it guarantees mediocrity. And at worst, total failure. So remember this. If you can just outlast some of the competition, they can't, so many businesses cannot do this. They cannot stick with something hard for a really long time. They can't. And why? Like, what do you do? They cannot, they can't post the content. They can't make the calls. They can't make the follow-up emails. They can't do the content for long enough. They can't post yet again. They can't be rejected yet again. They can't post another video and only get like 7 views because they haven't posted a video in 3 weeks. Like they can't post again and again and again and feel all that rejection and feel like, oh, people don't love me, and just continue doing it yet again. They can't do that because it's too psychologically challenging. But the one who can be uncomfortable for longer in this game, in the business game, wins. Play the long game. If you stick to comfort, it's like, oh, well, nobody likes me that much. They don't watch the content so much. Okay. You're going to guarantee that your marketing is mediocre if you have no outreach in this area. And at best, I mean, that's the best scenario. At worst, over time, you're going to fail. If you've been with me this far, thank you. Thank you for hanging out with me on this video. I hope all the information was clear. If you have a question, drop it in the comments below, drop it in the chats, send us a DM, send us a message, email. We'd be happy to connect with you. Please like, subscribe, share this content with people that might need it. Because again, I create and distribute content daily and deliver this content to people all over the world who need help building their businesses. So if that's you, or if you know somebody like that, then please make sure you share it. Please make sure you share it with them and let them know that our channel exists. And I hope that I will be able to serve you as much in this video, and I hope it was very meaningful and that I can do even more so in future videos. So if you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe to the channel. I don't know what's going on with the thing right now. If you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe and follow us on the channels and let us know how we can help you and what you would like more clarity on, because I create content almost every single day. Actually, I'll tell you this. Multiple pieces of content, sometimes lots of pieces of content are going out on all of our social media channels every single day. And so we're interacting with a lot of people. And if you need help, or if we can help you in any way, we'd be happy to do that. So make sure that you like, subscribe, and follow us, and that you go on the journey with us. And if you need anything that we can, if you need any questions answered for your specific situation, feel free to just jump in and ask us, and we'll make sure we get you an answer for that. So thank you for being here. Like the channel, subscribe again, and share it with somebody who you think it would might help, that we might be able to encourage, help, and help them grow their business. And next week, you're not going to want to miss this. This is about, I mentioned this earlier, but it's about talking about the marketing story for your client that actually works. We talked about making the client the hero in the story. And that's what I'm going to be unfolding in the next video. It actually takes an entire video to talk through it and for me to explain it. So join me next Wednesday at 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern, where we'll be talking about that. And by the way, you're not going to want to miss some of the really special guests that we're putting on the calendar this year to join on these videos. So if you are on here, I have some really cool people, some airline pilots, some other businesses in different categories, some pros in social media fields. And if you want to know more about that kind of stuff, and just become more of an expert and become more well-rounded, learn some stuff about those areas, please like, subscribe, and share the content with somebody else, so that you can be involved. Definitely make sure you hit the notifications bell for when we go live, because when we go live, you can be sure of one thing, and that is that the content that we're sharing will be something that it might have theory in it, but it's going to go very quickly to a very practical, applicable message that helps you to be able to move things forward in your life. Because one of my ultimate overall visions in all of my life and my family's life is to empower people with clarity. And that means helping people get crystal clear on what needs to be done so that they can move their life forwards, upwards, and faster at even a better pace than they already are. So join in on the fun. I will look forward to seeing you on the next video. And please don't be afraid to send us a message, ask us a question, and share this with your friends. And we'll see you on the next video.